Imagine looking up right now and never once seeing a plane cross the sky. No white trails cutting through the blue, no distant hum fading past the clouds, just birds. Just empty sky stretching all the way to a horizon you could only reach after weeks of travel. That's the sky Milo has always known. In his world, the airplane was never invented. It isn't that people never dreamed of flying, they did. Two brothers once built a strange wooden glider on a windy beach, and for 4 seconds it left the ground. Then it came apart. They tried again and again, but the engine kept failing, the wings kept snapping, and eventually, quietly, they gave up. No one else picked up where they left off. Flight became a fairy tale, something birds did, not something people did, and the world simply grew around that absence. At first, nobody noticed what was missing. How do you miss something that never existed? But slowly, over 100 years, the shape of everything changed. Without planes, the ocean became the only bridge between continents. Great steel liners, longer than city blocks, carried people across the Atlantic in 5 days instead of 5 hours. Crossing an ocean wasn't an errand anymore, it was a journey. People packed trunks, not carry-on bags. They said real goodbyes because they might not see home again for a year. Trains grew enormous instead. Rails stretched across deserts and mountains that, in our world, we'd simply fly over. Entire cities grew up around railway junctions because that junction was the fastest way in or out for 1,000 miles. War changed too. Without bombers, without fighter planes, battles stayed on the ground and on the water. No blitz from above, no paratroopers dropping behind enemy lines. Generals who once would have controlled the sky had to fight for every mile of land instead. And wars, without air power to end them quickly, sometimes dragged on for years longer than they did for us. Medicine changed in quieter, harder ways. A donated organ could never reach a patient in another country in time. Doctors in remote places couldn't get emergency supplies overnight. A disease outbreak that we might stop with a single canceled flight could, in Milo's world, spread for weeks by ship and rail before anyone even knew it had left its city of origin. And yet, the world Milo grew up in isn't a broken one. It's just slower, heavier, more patient. Cities feel different when nobody can leave in 2 hours. Milo's grandmother has lived her whole life in the same coastal town, and she knows every person in it because nobody really leaves and nobody really arrives, not the way we're used to. Trade goods take months to cross oceans, so people buy less and they buy things built to last. Fashion doesn't change every season, it changes every generation. Culture stayed more distinct too. 100 small worlds kept existing side by side, each one stubbornly, beautifully its own. But humans, Milo will tell you, never really stopped reaching for the sky. They just found a different way up. Engineers who couldn't master the airplane turned instead to something older, something bigger. Airships, vast silver hulls filled with lifting gas, humming with quiet engines, floating instead of racing. By the time Milo is grown, airships cross oceans in 3 days instead of 5. They don't roar, they don't rattle. Passengers walk on open observation decks, drinking tea 1,000 feet above the water, watching the whole curve of the earth in complete silence. It's slower than a plane ever was. It's also, somehow, more beautiful. Milo boards one for the first time on his 22nd birthday. As the ground falls away beneath him, silent and impossibly smooth, he understands something his grandmother tried to tell him for years. We didn't lose the sky. We just learned to move through it differently. Somewhere below him, ships still cross the Atlantic in 5 days. Trains still thread through mountains. Cities still grow slowly, deliberately, the way trees do. And above it all, drifting instead of racing, humanity finally touches the sky it always wanted, just on its own patient terms.